All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Chaos Zero Nightmare video. This is Mr. Squirrel, as always. Glad to have you here. And I wanted to make a quick should you summon video for Yuki. Because I know a lot of people are going to be curious about, should you summon for her? If you decide to re-roll for her, do you? I mean, I think she'd be a very good re-roll target. Try to get her in the one singular 10 summon. That could work. I think she'll be very good as a good character for re-rolling. Because what does she do? Essentially, she's in a striker order, so green, um, and is focused on area of effect damage. There are a lot of scenarios where AoE is very good. There's also a lot of scenarios where it might not be the best. Now, specifically, she does function on this inspiration effect, which essentially just means some of her cards have this inspiration, and when they are drawn via an ability, they do something extra, right? So that's a really cool mechanic. I think she's going to be very good at cycling through your deck and helping draw more, getting more things. So I definitely think Mika will be an easy one to run with her because you're going to be wanting to, shell cards like crazy. And then the other character is going to be Nia. I think Mika and Nia will definitely be some of her best partners. She's going to want to be a solo carry, which means she is more not a solo, but like a hyper carry. She is very much hyper carry esque. And Nia and Mika would probably be some of her best support characters. I do worry a little bit with shields. Nia, you want really Nia to run with her because Nia is going to help you cycle through to. Cassius can also be a very good card with her card. Combatant with her as well because he'll help you cycle. Anything that's going to get you to draw a lot, which is where I think Cassius, Nia preferably will be one of her best partners. But at the same time, you're going to be cycling a lot and you're going to, if you're drawing a ton of cards, you're going to want the AP to be able to expend all of these cards. And you don't want to just like, oh, I did a few of it and like I drew these cards and now I can't do anything with them because I used up all of my AP. So there's where I think Mika will probably be one of her best support characters as well. And I want to start this video off by talking about Mika here because it's coming back to there is a very prevalent issue emerging is that a lot of teams want Mika. And so I wanted to make this should you summon. All right. And so I wanted to highlight here. We can see that Mika is in the support category. She is kind of alone there because of what she's doing, which is the AP advance, the increase in AP and the healing. We don't know now, mind you, we don't know what Chizuru and you can see it and Serenial do. Now, I'm gonna say this. I'm very curious about both of them. I think Serenial has the potential. What if Serenial is like a shield or AP option, and then just massively increases the value of Calipe or something like that? I'm really curious about supports. And one of the things that I want to highlight is that right now we have a lot of good supports, but we don't have these crazy like Mika level supports right now. We got one Mika. And I think that's where we're gonna start seeing the power creep. Now again, I I'm not telling people what to do, but I am gonna say this is that if you are in a free to play or a dolphin standpoint, supports are what you should be saving for. Supports can take like Luke, who is considered tier 2, which I think he's a lot better than that, but maybe in context of this game, and they could imagine you get this bullet support, and Luke now skyrockets up to with the bullet support tier 0. Just saying, it is a very real possibility. We get a support specifically designed that pushes a character way above their when they're by themselves, which we see happen all the time in all the gotcha games. That's what these games do. And so, and these seasonal cards too could very well impact these characters to the point where we don't fully know and have, the greatest scope of what's going on with them. But what I'm trying to get at is like, for instance, Calipe is alone in kind of the way she operates. Is like AoE damage dealer shielder Vanguard character. We don't have a lot of characters that are like her or that operate in that same exact space as her. Instead, we are, she's operating by herself, very similar to Mika in the way that, the amount of damage she's outputting, the amount of shielding she's doing in contrast with Mika, you don't have a character that's offering you as much of these needed support features, which is AP. Any character that is going to give AP, any support that gives AP is going to hold significant value. And that's where I'm really curious about Serenia and Chizuru, because I'm imagining one of them is at least going to be a support character in some way, shape, or form. Serenia, I could see being like a tank too. Who knows? I'm curious about the next support and not the next damage dealer. And that's, I want to highlight something. All right. So a game I regularly used to play was Honkai Star Rail. And one of the things I want to highlight about Honkai Star Rail is the order of the banners that were released. The first character was released was Seele. And then Seele, who was an assassin character that thrived on, if she killed the character, she get more turns, yada yada yada, did a lot of crazy stuff. And then came Jing Liu, who was an AoE character. Seeing a little bit of some patterns here. Now, granted, Haru is not an assassin character, but she does like build up big damage. Jing Liu, in relation, kind of somewhat similar to, Seele, you want to set her up and then she kills someone, and then she goes again, yada, yada, yada. We have Yuki first or second now, and then, AoE character. And then we had Jing Liu. Now, look, again, this is normal. Power creep is power creep. Damage dealers will get power creep the fastest in these games. And so, unless it's a character that you really enjoy, like I actually really like Jing Liu, so I try to make him work no matter what. He was one of my favorite characters. Unless you want to make sure DPS characters, I really just go for the character that you really enjoy playing and you like their style, and then build her up. But at the same time, right now we are having an issue of we only have one character that can do AP, that increases AP. And we are hitting, there are a lot of teams that I want to run, and I'm like, well, do I have an AP generator? No. Well, Mika's already being used. Then I don't really have one. And that is an actual reality that I'm running into right now. Because I'm like, if I want to run a Kalipe team and then I want to run like a Mei Lin team at the other side, they're both looking for AP generators. What am I supposed to do? Right? I got only one Mika, and I mean, yeah, granted, I could do some neutral cards, but if I'm doing the twilight, dimensional twilight, and I want two teams that are requiring AP, well, I'm not in a good spot because I have two teams relying on the same support, and I can't use that support in both places. I can't just duplicate her and then put her on team A and team one and team two. I can't do that. And so for me right now, I have enough damage dealers. And if you saw my video from a couple days ago or yesterday, whenever this video gets released, I'm, I got Kalipe, but then I'm also like, well, I need Mika for her too. So I am going to save, and I am saving. I'm going to tell players, do I think you should summon? Unless you re-roll for Yuki or you're in dire need of an order DPS and you don't have an order DPS, then yes, go for her. But do take note, these AoE characters tend to get power crept, especially these earlier ones that are just like really good at AoE damage. They tend to get power crept really fast. Jing Liu, you have to make him work. Now, I'm going to say this. She does have that draw mechanic, the inspiration. That could give her a lot of staying power, because drawing in this game is very important. And so I could see that being what allows her to stay very relevant for a very long time, to the point where, if you want to go for it, though, at the same time, all of this doesn't matter if her playstyle is something you really enjoy, and test her out. We got to test her out. That's how I knew I didn't want her, because I was like, her style's cool, but I don't really want her. And then, do the same thing with the story mode for Yuki. Try her out. If you find that, yeah, this is super cool, I love this style, then go for her. That's as simple as that. If this is a character you can see yourself playing over and over and over and over and over and over again, with countless chaos runs, countless zero runs, then I say go for it at that point if you really like her. But at the same time, when you're going for DPS, understand that you really do want a lot of dupes sometimes. And we'll see with Yuki, we don't know how dupe reliant she is. She could be very dupe reliant, like insanely dupe reliant. We don't know. She could not be dupe reliant. We don't know. No one knows. But I'm going to say this: DPS tend to get power crept very fast. If you are free to play or a dolphin, I would highly recommend you just save for your support characters and tanks. Maybe we get like an AP. Like, what if Serenial is like an AP tank? That would be great, like a shielding APer. Oh my god, can you imagine how cracked she'd be? That's my point. So for me, I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna save for hopefully a new kit. Like the Serenial is this like AP crazy AP generating tank. That'd be amazing. But we have yet to see. Do I recommend that you summon for Yuki? Probably not if you have an order character. If you don't have an order character, she'd be very good. I do think she'll just be universally good in the sense that she's drawing a lot. And also, you really want Nia. So take note, you do want Nia with her. Nia's going to help her cycle through her cards more. Anyone that helps draw Cassius Nia will be her best cards. Ooh, and the last thing I do want to take note of with Yuki is she is going to be expensive in the sense that you really do want her partner card. Her partner card will amp up her damage like crazy, but that means that you need to summon for partner and you need to summon for her. And we don't know if she's going to be dupe reliant. Just saying that's a lot to spend on, and we don't know what's coming in. Well, we do know what's coming in the future. We know we're going to get Chizuru next. Well, not next. We do know we're going to get Chizuru and Serenial. And I personally am going to save for the next support. Okay. I hope this video helps. And as always, remember, failing is just your first attempt at learning.